My youngest that gave me away, and that's my husband Alex, and that's my daughter, that's Daly, and then my stepdaughter is to the left of her in that picture, and they're besties, so that's really cute. It's nice that the family's merging. So reverse mortgages, what exactly is it? Well, a lot of people have a misconception about reverse mortgages because they don't really understand what it truly is. It's the same mortgage, it's just you don't have to make a payment on your house. You can if you want to, but you can choose not to, which is why most people get that. So it's just simply a mortgage. What I wanted to do is I was going to do a bunch of slides, and honestly I thought, everybody's going to be like, okay, what is this? So I thought I would take a true example of a reverse mortgage, so some of you should have these, and I wanted to go over exactly why someone would get a reverse mortgage and some myth busters on it. So a lot of times people think, oh, it's for poor people, they don't have enough money, but they have equity. And yes, that is true a lot of times. But it can also be used as a financial tool to help supplement retirement. It could be that some people don't really want to leave their kids the house when they're dead because then they don't get to see their kids enjoy any of the money. So some people decide to take the money out of the house ahead of time, which is another myth, how people go, well, I don't own the property, my kids won't get inheritance. It's not true either, you know. The good thing with a reverse mortgage is a non-recourse loan. What that means is you do not have to pay back any more than what the house is worth. So you buy a house for, you do a loan for $400,000, the house is only worth $2,000, you pass away, your kids can buy that house back for $2,000, or they can simply just give it back. So I'm going to show you an example here. There's two products for reverse mortgages. There's a HECM, which is an FHA, and then there's a conventional called Choice. The cool thing is, the Choice, you can be 55 years or older. With the HECM, which is an FHA, you have to be 62. So on the first example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to forward this to and put it up there because I did manage to put this up, but I changed the slide I wanted to do because I figured it'd be easier to, this one doesn't, it didn't come out right. So this is a little bit different from this one, but so on this example, the HECM, so when you do a reverse mortgage, a client may either want to get the money out or maybe they don't. They just don't want to make a payment. Some folks are still in that mind where they want to leave the money to their children. And so on this example, the house is worth $1 million and they owe $120,000 on their existing mortgage. So we got to pay that mortgage off, right? So we're making a payment on it. So we pay that mortgage off. We use the value of the property. We use their age, and so we use what's called a life expectancy. We used to call it mortality table, but then that seemed kind of morbid. So we use a life expectancy, almost the same thing that insurance does. How long are you gonna live? If you're age 79, how long would you live? And based on that and your value, and based on the market going up 4%, how much money can we get you out? On this example, the client has available funds of $300,691 that they can get. Now, with an FHA reverse HECM, you can't get all that money at once because FHA wants to have you only get half of it because therefore maybe you shouldn't be spending all your money at one time. So FHA restricts it. What do they do with the other half? It goes into a HECM, a line of credit. That line of credit does earn a return, which is cool. Maybe this particular person at 79 does not want to take all that money out. They just didn't want to make a payment. And so all that money goes into a line. If you look on page 2, and this is kind of fun for me, I don't know about for you, but if you look at page 2, it shows you how that line of credit, based on the interest rate, based on the how many years of what that line of credit can earn as a return. So your equity, your property is now becoming, a tool for you to supplement retirement, supplement whatever you want to do. In this example, let's just say poor Susie dies in year 10. And I did highlight that. Susie could have used $611 of her line of credit to do whatever she wanted with. She didn't, she left it in there. So she owes $303.812. On the right, where it says property value, her property is worth $1.480 based on the 4% increase of what your house value is going to be. So in the event that she dies, this is an accelerated clause. You have to get rid of the property, or the children can buy it. They can get a loan and they can actually pay off HUD. So at $611 that she could have withdrew, she didn't. But let's say she decided, let's just say she does live longer, right? And we go to year 15. This is what I thought was kind of interesting. She has $872,000 she could pull out. She's now 96 years old, and she's like, you know what, I know I'm not living much longer. I'm gonna pull this money out, I'm gonna stick it in a CD, and I'm gonna pay for my kids' house, I'm gonna take them on vacation. I mean, she's 96, so there's really not much longer she's gonna live. And a lot of people decide to do this, right? Would you rather see your children enjoy the money that you're gonna leave them? Or would you rather you're passing away and you don't know what's gonna happen? Which is why we have our wills and our trusts. So on this particular example though, let's say she took out $872. Now she owes, based on her loan, she has $433 plus $872, so she's gonna owe $1.3. She pulled that equity out of her loan, right? Now, if the property is only worth $1.1, right? What do the kids do? They could either buy it back from HUD at $1.1 and get a loan, or they could simply say, on you go. What did they get when Susie at 79 or 96 pulled the money out? She already gave her kids $872,000 from her line of credit that's been earning a return. So you can kind of see how these are really good tools, but a lot of people don't understand them because they think, oh, HUD owns my house. They don't. It's just, it's an accelerated mortgage, so if you die, that loan has to be paid off. What happens a lot of times is people live with their parents and then they get upset because now the house has to go back. No, you just have to get a loan to pay it off. So depending on what the equity is. So as a real estate agent, some real estate agents come to me and they say, oh, we need to do a short sale. HUD does not do short sales. They just simply, if you owe HUD 1.3 and your house is worth 1.1, you just give it back. Or you give them 1.1 and take the house. So that's a whole nother different set of ballpark of things. With the other product, the Choice Fix, it's a conventional product. So the reason why we offer a borrower two different choices is if you look, I had an older gentleman, he wanted to remodel a property. He wanted all the money up front. He didn't want HUD to put in a line of credit. He wanted it. Well, then the next product would be the Choice product where he can get $341,331, right? So we did that particular loan for him instead. The difference between these two choices has to do with this calculation, and if you look at origination fee, you're like, damn, $19,000. That's not what I'm charging, that's what the lender's charging. It's kind of like the mortgage insurance. So if you look at this paper and you see mortgage insurance, which I highlighted, FHA's charging $20,000, the other two aren't. They've just kind of mixed it in with something else. The mortgage insurance that you're paying is what allows this property to be a non-recourse loan. So it does protect. Your family is allowed to live in there. My mom has one. She's able to go on her cruises. She doesn't have to make a house payment. She has a line of credit and she doesn't touch it. Then she had to turn around and fix the roof and she had to do a couple of other things. I said, Mom, you have a line of credit. Just pull the money out. She's like, oh, okay. And then, well, what about you guys? Don't worry about us. The house is appreciating. Use the money as you see fit. You can do whatever you want with it. So I've got a couple minutes left, and I hope this wasn't too boring. But if you were 79 and you decided this is what you would get. This is an exact thing, an exact proposal I have to give you legally.
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
If you don't tap into the equity, is the payoff the amount only the amount of the loan, or do you still have to prove?
Correct. So if you look at that page, page 2, it'll show you what you owe and then your line of credit. So in this example, I showed that this person didn't take any of the line of credit out, right. Just because you can't. I mean, you can do several. Also, if you look on here, it says tenure on the page 1 of 2289. This person could have decided to take that money out per month, but no line. I think it's best, instead of getting $22.89 for the rest of your life that you're living, put it in your line of credit and pull the money out when you need it. That's usually what I suggest. Right?
Second question. This has to be a refi because you can't do it on a purchase money, right?
You can actually do you can do a reverse purchase. But when you do a reverse purchase,
you don't.
It's the same thing. So I have to do the same calculation that's a purchase. So you're gonna have to come in with a certain amount of down payment.
Right, but you don't, but my understanding is there's no line of credit with a purchase fund.
It depends on, no, I don't think you do. The reverse purchases actually are a little bit newer. Most people are doing proprietary ones, but you can have a line of credit, but you'd have to bring in more money. So,
sense.
yeah, but you can refinance after you do your reverse purchase.
Well, yeah, that's.
So maybe you do a
that's-
reverse purchase and,
So the line of credit, you can pull out cash.
yes.
What's the key differentiating factors between something like a reverse mortgage versus a HELOC?
A HELOC you have to make a payment on. Yeah, a reverse you don't. You never have to make a payment. You can make a payment, but you don't have to. All right, so I would love to do a one-to-one, and I'm looking for, I like estate planners and divorce attorneys and, real estate agents, because these are good, like financial planners. These are good financial tools. Thank you.